So I'm just going to blaze right past Boris Johnson's new baby, because that was breaking news after I decided to do this video. As much as I think that baby is never going to live a life of hardship based on his father's policies, as many millions are and many millions will have to do, that child is going to be exempt. But I'm going to completely charge right past that. I'm going to continue to do my video about what I originally intended this video to be about, which was the news this morning that hotels are being paid, I presume state money, by the government to house and accommodate homeless people during the coronavirus pandemic. And on the surface, this looks like a lovely policy. It's brilliant. It looks like one of these policies that can almost be hailed as socialist by this new brand of conservatism that Boris Johnson has ushered in since the pandemic started. The only thing that's stopping this and other policies like it from being praised, from being worthy of commendation, is the fact that presumably these rooms, this accommodation space, didn't just pop up when coronavirus hit the UK. It wasn't just there, it must have always been there. And we've had a rough sleeping problem in this country for quite a few years now. So why, as the Conservative Party, they've been in power since 2010, as rough sleeping has crept up, why have they not, before now, gone to the owner of Premier Inn or of Holiday Inn, or what hotel names, they're completely escaping me at the moment, Marriott? Why have they not gone forward to these people and said, look, we will pay you state money to sell us some of your sites, X amount of your sites, and then either tear down the hotels and build homeless shelters, or just use the hotels as homeless shelters? Why has that not been? Because there's too much money involved, too much for the economy. That's what it's always been about with the Conservatives: economy over lives. And as much as they like to give it all this about lives, how they're protecting lives, they always mention the economy immediately after. Have you noticed that? When they were talking about potentially lifting the lockdown, they were saying we shouldn't lift the lockdown because it would ruin lives, it would end lives unnecessarily, and it would crash the economy. They always reference the economy. The economy should always be significantly less important than actual lives. People on the streets, that is unacceptable. In the fifth richest country in the world, that is unacceptable. And it has been unacceptable, and it doesn't just become unacceptable when there's a pandemic. It is unacceptable, period. So why did the Tories not go forward, whether it's under Cameron, under May, under Johnson, not go forward before this pandemic hit us and say to the owners of the Marriott, of the Premier Inn, of the Holiday Inn, of whatever other hotel chains we have in the UK, I don't know, I'm not a hotel chain expert, why did it not go forward to those people and say, we will pay you to loan us your sites or to hand over your sites to us, and then we will make them into homeless accommodation? Why has it taken a pandemic to deal with homelessness? The same way that it's taken a pandemic to deal with, if you can't work, if you're medically unable to work, the government will pay you enough to survive. It's taken a global pandemic, the biggest global pandemic in a century, for the Conservatives to actually do something about these issues. That is what strikes me every single time they roll out one of these lovely socialist policies, which are in themselves brilliant policies. Had they been ushered in under an actual socialist government that led by Jeremy Corbyn or some other socialist who spent 30, 40 years advocating this stuff, I'd be cheering for it. But the fact of the matter is, the Conservative Party's history speaks for itself. It really speaks for itself. Boris Johnson walked past a homeless person on camera, didn't even look at him. That is the Conservative attitude towards homelessness. I don't care what policies they roll out, that, as great as they are, I don't care. That's their attitude. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.